Today, I'm going to explain a thriller film called Panic Button. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. The story starts with Jo, who is leaving her 5-year-old daughter with her grandmother for a few days while she goes on a special trip. The little girl looks heartbroken as she seems to be really close to her mom, but Jo gently hands her a phone and assures her that she can call anytime she misses her. After she departs in her cab, Grandma takes the little girl upstairs when suddenly a masked intruder barges in, points a gun at the old woman, and finishes her off. Elsewhere, a completely oblivious Jo reaches the airport as it turns out her trip is being sponsored by a social networking site named All Together. She and 3 more participants, Gwen, Max, and Dave, were selected as winners via a lucky draw and now are going on a completely free 3-day trip to New York on a private jet. The 4 of them meet at a VIP lounge where they greet each other and immediately start indulging in expensive drinks. Dave, who thinks he's a comedian but is actually a prick, starts asking Jo uncomfortable questions regarding her family. It turns out he has already stalked everyone's social media profile, and the girls also hesitantly admit that they have done the same. Amidst all this, a voice announces that during the flight to New York, they will get to participate in some games and can even win expensive gifts. However, there is a condition. They must submit their mobile phones before boarding. The group finds it a bit odd, but once they see the massive private jet, they immediately forget everything and hand over their phones to a staff member. After that, the 4 of them finally board the jet, which leaves their mouths gaping in awe. The stunning interiors, wide range of alcohol, separate LED screens for everyone, and incredible fancy bathrooms.
Is that a bidet? Oh my fucking god.
Feel like something out of a dream. None of them have ever experienced anything like this and are buzzing with excitement. Shortly after, the host welcomes them through the intercom. He reveals that the games are soon about to begin and the prizes up for grabs are gold, VIP tickets to concerts, and even a 4x4 SUV. Once the excited participants settle down and fasten their seatbelts, the flight finally takes off from London. The host starts yapping the routine flight information like a veteran, and everything appears to be normal. Max does some calculations and reveals that they should reach New York in about 6 hours, while a nervous Gwen admits that it's her first time flying, let alone traveling abroad. Dave then quickly pops a bottle of champagne, and all 4 of them begin drinking to celebrate the journey. Minutes later, the host suddenly interrupts them, saying it's now time to play the first round of games. He appears in a crocodile avatar and asks them to read the terms and conditions first. All the participants simply scroll to the end and click on accept, after which the host explains that the game has to be played to the very end. Any participant who breaks the flow of the game will face the consequences. The first game is going to be a quiz contest, where each participant will be asked some basic questions. They must answer honestly and correctly because all the questions are based on the data that they have uploaded to their All Together social media profile. The first to go is Dave, and he is asked 3 questions. The first one is how many goals he scored for his team in the Sunday Football League, and Dave confidently answers 9 goals. The second question is whether he has any tattoos on his body. Dave says yes, he has one on his lower back. The third question shows him a picture of a girl and asks whether he knows her. Dave's expression suddenly changes and he freezes for a moment. The host then reveals that the picture was taken just a few weeks ago and once again asks if he recognizes her. Dave, who is certainly not expecting this question, hesitantly says he has never seen her before. The host announces that all 3 of his answers are wrong, which shocks the entire group. Dave has not scored a single goal this season, as it turns out he's been banned for assaulting an opponent. Dave does not have a tattoo on his back, but has another on his scrotum that he got 3 years ago. The revelation leaves him embarrassed, but the host goes one step further and discloses that the girl in the picture is a French citizen named Amy, whom Dave met last week. They had some drinks and spent the night together, despite him already being engaged. Dave then blocked Amy the very next morning to hide his infidelity. Upon hearing all of this, the atmosphere becomes a bit tense and Dave is shocked how this company has such personal information about him. The next to go is Jo, and the quiz quickly reveals that she used to be addicted to drugs and had to stay in rehab for a long time to recover. Not only that, she also alters her appearance and uploads bold photos on dating sites, despite having a 5-year-old daughter. Although Jo answers 2 questions correctly, she is embarrassed that her personal life is being exposed. exposed in front of others. Then it's Max's turn, and he's asked some very basic questions, but answers all of them wrong. It appears that he doesn't know anything about his own life. The host then embarrasses him by revealing that the first thing Max bought on the website was a solution for genital warts. He has also stalked a girl named Jennifer a ridiculous 234 times, often scrolling through her photos for hours. Finally, it is Gwen's turn, and her secrets are also revealed. She works as a counselor, yet online she trolls people and has bullied her juniors relentlessly. In particular, she tormented a guy named Neil during her college days, and even created an online forum dedicated to him. The rest of the group is stunned to hear this, as they were under the impression that Gwen is an innocent girl. With this, the first round ends, and all four of them are deeply embarrassed as their secrets are exposed. But soon enough, they begin laughing about the experience and believe the worst is already behind them. They think maybe that's all the information the company has, so the next round might not be so bad. Meanwhile, Jo notices that the weather outside looks harsh, even though the forecast said it would be clear. She tells this to the others, but no one pays attention as they're too drunk and just want to win the prize money. Shortly after, the host announces the second round, Kiss and Tell, which excites the participants. He explains that the All Together social media site has amassed millions of users who share their interests, passions, and dreams on a daily basis. For some, it is a place where they can wear disguises, but for others, it is a place where they can truly reveal themselves. The purpose of this round is to find out what these four participants are behind their social media accounts. Without further ado, the host plays a disturbing video where a man is tied up and beaten by a group of unknown assailants. He pleads and begs for help, but the cruel men point a gun at him and finish him off. As everyone gasps in horror, the host asks Jo if she has seen this video somewhere. She says she doesn't remember, but then the host displays her internet history, revealing that she not only watched the video multiple times, but also shared it with her friends. This proves that she enjoys watching others suffer. But don't worry, I'm sure she also enjoys long walks on the beach. Jo expectedly denies it and gets so offended that she announces that she won't play this sick game anymore. Regardless, the host doesn't stop and turns to Gwen next. He also displays her personal information and reveals that she has never been physically involved with any man. Yet, she portrays herself online as someone very experienced. Next, Dave's internet history is revealed. It shows that he frequently visits multiple Japanese adult websites and specifically searches for videos involving underage people. Dave feels exposed and says that everyone does things in private that are morally wrong, but the others begin judging him, making him really angry. He also announces that he's done with this game and tries to open the pilot's cabin.
I want to parachute down to the United States. They'll accept me there.
But to no avail. Just then, the host warns that Dave will be punished for breaking the rules. From his friends list, a random guy is selected, and a video shows masked men breaking into his room. He is gagged and tied up, and the men soon finish him with a shot to the face. As the video abruptly ends, all the participants are terrified, except for Dave, who feels like the whole thing is a prank, and millions of people are probably watching them live. Meanwhile, a worried Max tries to email the police through the smart screen, but everything is blocked. The host then announces that because Max tried to contact the outside world, one of his friends will be punished as well. Gwen and Jo desperately plead for forgiveness, asking the host not to do it, but Max remains unconcerned. He continues searching for a way to send an email as if he doesn't care about his friends. Seconds later, a guy named Alan is selected, and a video shows him standing near an elevator. A masked man suddenly jumps from behind and beats him up before throwing him down from a height, eliminating him brutally. The sight sickens the participants, and it finally dawns on them that they are in a death game, or they just don't recognize when it's AI anymore. A worried Jo then looks outside and sees city lights in the distance, which is strange because on the route to New York there should only be the Atlantic Ocean. The group then puts two and two together and realizes that they're not going to New York. They are being taken somewhere else. Just then, a frustrated Max, who turns out to be an engineer and a hacker, decides to take matters into his own hands. He starts tampering with the nearby equipment despite his friends pleading him not to do this, until he discovers a hidden screen. He plugs it in and soon discovers that the flight is actually headed to Oslo, where the headquarters of the All Together website is located. This revelation sends everyone into a panic, and they beg to be released, but the host announces that it's time for the third round instead. He then lays down the rules. Each of them must go into the bathroom one by one to receive instructions for their secret task. If they refuse, a friend or family member will be eliminated. Jo goes first, and she puts on a pair of headphones through which the host talks to her privately. He gives her a task and warns that if she doesn't complete it, her daughter sister will die. He also warns her against revealing her task to anyone or there will be consequences. Next, it's Dave's turn and he is told that his fiance's life is at stake. Gwen must complete a task to save her sister, while Max must complete his task to save his brother. They are told that they have 45 minutes to complete their tasks, or the plane will crash into the All Together website headquarters building. That's how much the people who work on social media apps hate themselves. Although everyone is destined to die, they can still save their loved ones. Amidst this tense situation, Max grabs a nearby axe and breaks a screen in frustration. He then reveals that the host gave him the task to eliminate someone right now, but he won't do it. Unfortunately, because he violated the rules of the game, his brother's hand is cut off, leaving the poor guy screaming in pain. The host then warns that he's going to amputate the other hand as well if Max doesn't do as asked. Upon hearing this, Max gets up and drops a bombshell. The guy in the video is not his brother. In fact, he's not even Max, but just an imposter who hacked into the real Max's account to win this free trip and inserted his own contact details. This finally explains his nonchalant attitude and why all his answers were incorrect in the first round. This leaves everyone shocked, and they demand to know his real identity, but Max doesn't say it out loud, fearing the host will go after his family. Dave then punches him in the face and takes his passport to check if he's really telling the truth. After confirming that the guy is indeed an imposter, Dave heads to the bathroom as it turns out his task was to get the passport and find out Max's real identity. But after doing this, the host still doesn't let his fiancée go. He instead assigns Dave with a new task to eliminate the imposter Max within 3 minutes, or else his fiancée will die. Outside, Joe pours drinks for everyone, but Max ends up chugging down everyone's glasses. Just then, a possessed Dave exits the bathroom, picks up the axe, and charges at Max. He manages to injure him, but after a tense struggle, Max ends up overpowering Dave and eliminating him with the same axe. In the aftermath of this skirmish, the host announces that since Dave couldn't complete his task, his fiancée will suffer the consequences. A video then shows her being strangled, sending shivers down everyone's spine. Seconds later, Gwen goes to the bathroom and puts on the headphones to talk to the host. It turns out her task was to eliminate Dave, but since Max has already done that, she is given a new task. She must seduce Max and make love with him. The host warns that her sister's life is on the line, so she must complete the task this time. After Gwen comes out of the bathroom, she helps Max to dispose of Dave's body in the flight attendant's room. She then asks him to take off his shirt so that she can treat his injuries before abruptly kissing him. When Max resists, she honestly reveals that she must do this, or else her sister will be eliminated as well. Max feels bad for her, but goes through with it. But then he suddenly stops when he realizes that they're near the luggage compartment. If he can somehow get through and find his laptop, he can inform the authorities about their situation. Gwen tries to stop him, but he ignores her and walks out of there. Realizing that she failed the mission once again, Gwen begins crying, but the host gives her one final chance. He orders her to stop Max from accessing the luggage compartment. Desperate to save her sister, she grabs the axe and almost finishes Max, but Joe restrains her in the nick of time. She applies a strong chokehold and eliminates Gwen, as it turns out that this was her mission all along. Now that Gwen failed, her sister is horrifically set on fire. Filled with anger and vengeance, Max uses the axe and eventually breaks the door, giving him access to the luggage compartment. The moment he enters, he is met with a disgusting smell. As it turns out, several dead bodies have been kept there in plastic bags. He is horrified to discover that Max's brother is also among them, and Joe also finds her mother's corpse, revealing that all their relatives had already been eliminated before they even boarded the flight, and the videos were simply pre-recorded. While Joe cries in horror, Max grabs his bag, which contains his laptop. He quickly opens it and tries to contact the police, but then the cockpit door opens, and out comes the pilot with a taser. Max has no choice but to surrender his laptop, and the pilot destroys it. Furious, Max and Joe attack him and demand to know why he's doing all of this, but they soon realize that the pilot is also being blackmailed. Joe pleads with him to land the plane, explaining that the host has already eliminated his family, but the pilot refuses to believe her. At this moment, Max suddenly becomes sick and starts convulsing, as it turned out Joe had poisoned his drink earlier. It was meant for Gwen, but he drank from her glass too. A desperate Joe tries to help him, but the poor guy ends up dying a painful death. Taking advantage of this distraction, the pilot tases Joe and heads back inside the cockpit. When she comes back to her senses, the host tells her to watch one last video before she dies. It shows a 15-year-old girl named Lucy who went live on the All Together website and committed the unthinkable by overdosing on sleeping pills. The 5 people on the plane, Dave, Dave, Max, Gwen, Joe, and the pilot were all actually watching her live. Instead of stopping her, they posted disgusting comments, encouraged her, and even shared the video with friends and family. In a shocking turn of events, it is then revealed that the host is none other than Lucy's father, who's doing all of this for revenge. He also wants to destroy the social media company for allowing his daughter's death, which explains why the plane is headed to the All-Together headquarters. A desperate Joe admits her mistake and asks if her daughter is still alive, since her body wasn't found, but the host coldly claims he already unalived her daughter and announces that the plane will crash in 5 minutes. With nothing left to lose, Joe decides to do one final good deed. She grabs the axe and breaks open the plane's door mid-air. She is immediately sucked out and eliminated, but due to the pressure, the plane crashes into the ocean instead of the building, saving thousands of employees. In the final scene, the host is finally shown, and he turns out to be an old man working from his basement. It is then revealed that he didn't eliminate Joe's daughter, but has actually adopted her and renamed her Lucy. He and his family now treat her as their daughter, believing that she is their lost